National Prosecuting Authority should act quickly and decisively against those implicated in state capture. The NPA has moved to seize a dairy farm in Vrede in the Free State, where millions were looted from a project intended to lift residents out of poverty. The Asset Forfeiture Unit claims Atul Gupta was paid a staggering 10 million rand for the initiative, despite having no background in farming. Well, eNCA's Michael Apple is in Vrede in the Free State for us this morning. Michael, a very good morning to you. You've been out and about chatting to the community there in Vrede as well, and it seems the NPA might be heeding that call to act quickly and decisively. Officials from the NPA are expected at the farm today. Do we have any idea what they're actually expected to do at this relatively non-existent dairy farm?
Good morning, Yuveka and Vrede. Well, we say quickly and decisively, and I can tell you it doesn't feel like that for the intended beneficiaries of this empowerment project that were made all sorts of promises back in 2012. So it's been 6-7 years for many of them, and a lot of them lost their livelihoods. They were encouraged to sell their cows, to send them to the slaughter, and that their cows would be replaced with dairy cows, because between 80 and 100 beneficiaries that were placed on a list were promised that they would each be given 5 cows with which to start their little dairy empire, and that never ever came to fruition. A lot of anger, a lot of unhappiness, and a lot of people saying, well, it's about 5 years too late for us to see any justice here, but happy nonetheless that something is happening. And their question is not around this process getting lost in the legal detail of who is seizing what, and they're just interested, well, if the NPA does seize this dairy farm today, there's speculation that may actually take place today. If the NPA does seize this farm, what does it mean? Was that empowerment project, that 220 million rand that was foreseeably supposed to go to helping between 80 and 100 beneficiaries here, what do they get out of this whole process? Or is that entire empowerment project just null and void now?
Well, in the years that they were supposed to see some development and see some job creation for them, Michael, but this didn't materialize. Did these community members actually try to get to anybody and say, look, this is what was promised and this is what, and it's not happening? Had they reported this to anyone?
Yes, there were certain individuals in the very first meeting that they had. It was Musabenzi Zwane, the MEC for Agriculture in the Free State at the time. It was the HOD of Agriculture. All these people have had letters written to them. Some have responded, some haven't. There have been some meetings, but it never goes anywhere. And they've asked for the public protector to get involved. The public protector did visit this community last year, and the community was told that she's going to be releasing a report into the shenanigans that went on here, how exactly 220 million rand using the names of the beneficiaries was able to be dispersed between the Gupta families and their cronies. And that 220 million rand was divided up quite nicely. Only about 1% of that 220 million rand actually went into doing anything remotely related to agriculture on that farm. So it is a terrible tale of the face of state capture, corruption and looting, and you're seeing it play out on a practical level in this tiny community.
Well, Michael, you did speak of the community members saying that they were told to sell their cows to be slaughtered for their meat, and just how much they've lost. Give us some idea of exactly, how this has actually impacted their lives, where they actually find themselves today because of this corruption.
Well, they were all promised this pipe dream that they're going to become emerging farmers, that they're going to be able to use this dairy as a sort of a distribution point for their milk. And that was not the only promise that was made. Their community is going to be uplifted. The roads are going to be built. There'll be clinics. There'll be schools. It was this whole package that came with these 5 cows that they were promised. So it wasn't just, well, here are the 5 cows and you can go on your merry way. They were supposed to fall into the slipstream, become part of the mainstream economy here in Vrede. And there were supposed to be training visits to India and all of that. None of that ever came So as Ephraim Dlamini said yesterday, I am hungry. And I think that sums up in what position they find themselves.
Oh, Michael, with the NPA expected there today, do we know if there are plans for officials there from the NPA to actually engage with these community members, to have a meeting with them, or to have any sort of interaction with them when they get there?
No, I don't believe the NPA will be meeting with the community. I don't think they'll believe that that is their responsibility. I mean, we should foreseeably have the Department of Agriculture here, but they all seem to have run for the hills at the moment. But the NPA, I don't think, will be meeting with the community. They'll take their mandate, at least the AFU, the Asset Forfeiture Unit, will be looking to what their mandate is here, and it certainly isn't to engage the community, I don't think. So I'll be outside the Vrede dairy farm in a little while, and well, we can do nothing but stake out and see, as the NPAs remain tight-lipped on whether or not they're going to, and what exactly this preservation order entails. Do they drive in with 20 SUVs and say we're taking this farm, or do they arrive with a piece of paper, or do they lock the gates? I mean, I'll have to see how this plays out.
All right, certainly going to be a very interesting day there in Vrede in the Free State. That's where we find eNCA's Michael Apple this morning. Thank you.